Let's transition to the NFL. It's NFL Super Bowl 57. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona. The Eagles are favored by 1.5 point. Kickoff is set for 6:30 p.m. on Sunday evening. The over-under for this matchup is 51.5 points. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Jalen Hurts. It's the Kelce Bowl between Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce. It's the Andy Reid Bowl as well. Andy Reid going up against his former team. And also, more than anything, what I'm most excited about in the Super Bowl this year, Super Bowl 57 will be the first Super Bowl to feature 2 black starting quarterbacks. That's what I'm most excited about. I'm excited that we finally get an opportunity to see 2 black starting quarterbacks face off against each other in the Super Bowl, in Mahomes and in Hurts. So excited about that. Let's break down the Super Bowl and let's talk about the matchups in the Super Bowl. Let's start off with the Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs, they are led by Patrick Mahomes. And last night, Patrick Mahomes, he took home the NFL MVP, and it was well-deserved, ladies and gentlemen. Patrick Mahomes was great this year in the regular season. 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 5,250 passing yards, completing 67% of his passes. Patrick Mahomes had a great season this year. And I believe that he earned his NFL MVP award this year. He really did. And I believe that he is the best quarterback in the NFL. You look at what he's been able to do so far since he's been the starting quarterback of the Chiefs in 5 years being the starting quarterback for the Chiefs. Every single year he's been a starter, he's led the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game. They've hosted the AFC Championship game all 5 years since he's been a starter. Also, in the playoffs, in the divisional round of the playoffs, the man is 5-0 with 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Okay? And overall, Patrick Mahomes has been a great quarterback for the Chiefs since he's taken over. He's been in the Super Bowl 3 out of the last 4 years. And I don't think there's a quarterback in NFL history who's had a better 5-year start to their career than Patrick Mahomes has. I mean, the dude is sensational, and the Kansas City Chiefs, they have been contenders ever since he's taken over as a starting quarterback. They've been contenders. Seriously. And what makes Mahomes great is not only how he plays in the regular season, but he elevates his game in the postseason. Let's look at Mahomes' playoff career, all-time rank statistically, shall we? Patrick Mahomes, he averages 106.1. That's his passer rating in the playoffs. That's ranked first all time. He averages 326 passing yards per game. That's ranked first all time. He averages 2.5 passing touchdowns per game. That's ranked first all time. His touchdown interception ratio is 4.57. That's ranked first all time. The man completes 67% of his passes, which is also ranked first all time. These are all rankings for all-time great quarterbacks. This was among 12 quarterbacks. Among quarterbacks with 12 starts in the playoffs. Those rankings I just named. So in every major statistical category, Patrick Mahomes is number 1 in. He is the best quarterback in the NFL, and he's the greatest player in the NFL currently playing football. Because I look at even the AFC Championship. In the AFC Championship, Mahomes was able to beat the Bengals with no Hartman, no Juju Smith-Schuster, and no Kadarius Toney. Those are his best receivers on his team. And he was able to beat the Bengals with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Skylar Moore, and I believe it was Noah Gray. That's a receiver off. That's a rookie. He beat the Bengals with those receivers. Mind you, Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst, and Joe Mixon in the AFC Championship game. And he couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes with MVS, Noah Gray, and Skylar Moore. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. It's no longer a conversation. I used to argue it was Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers won the MVP 2 out of the last 3 years, but that's no longer a debate. It's Patrick Mahomes. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who's available for the Chiefs in this game because in the AFC Championship game, Kadarius Toney and Juju Smith-Schuster both left the AFC Championship game with injuries. And McCall Hartman has already been ruled out of the Super Bowl. He's already been ruled out. So it's going to be interesting to see who suits up. I believe they're all going to suit up and play. But when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs offensively, the best player on this Chiefs offense, not named Patrick Mahomes, is Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is not only the best tight end in the NFL, he might be the best tight end in NFL history. That's how great Travis Kelce is as a player. And you look at what Travis Kelce has been able to do since this year. Like this is just this year statistically. Travis Kelce, including the playoffs, 110 receptions. That's ranked third in the NFL. 1,388 receiving yards. That's ranked eighth in the NFL. 12 receiving touchdowns. That's ranked second in the NFL. Again, he might not only be the best tight end in the NFL, he may be the best tight end in NFL history. And this is a league that saw the likes of Rob Gronkowski, Shannon Sharp, and Tony Gonzalez. Travis Kelce might be better than all of them. Seriously, he is the number one target for Patrick Mahomes, and he is a reliable target, especially in the red zone. I don't understand why defensive coordinators don't double Travis Kelce and just try to make someone else beat them. But Travis Kelce produces at a very, very high level. Now, what's going to be interesting in this game is I think the Chiefs' offensive line, they're going to have to protect Patrick Mahomes in this game. Remember the last time the Chiefs got to the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, Patrick Mahomes was running around for his life. He got sacked 3 times in that game, and he was pressured all game long. The offensive line now is better with Creed Humphrey up front, right guard Trey Smith, right tackle Andre Wiley, left guard Joe Thuney, and left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. They're a better offensive line this season compared to what they were that year when the Chiefs made the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So I think that they're going to have to protect Patrick Mahomes to have a chance at winning this game. I'm also looking at to see if offensive coordinator Eric B. and Andy Reid, if they be patient and run the football with Pacheco, and it's a possibility that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also going to play in this game. He's been on the PUP list, I believe, so he's not been able to play the last few games. So I think it's going to be important for the Chiefs to remain patient and run the football with Pacheco, with McKinnon, and with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's going to be key. This year, during the regular season, Pacheco, he had 170 carries, 830 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. Okay, McKinnon, 72 carries, 291 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. He's a better running back out of the backfield at catching the football. So they're going to have to run the football and be patient. And we know Andy Reid, he doesn't like to be patient. He doesn't. And he likes to throw the football all over the yard. That's what's going to be key. That's going to be key. And they're going up against a Philadelphia Eagles defense that is the best defense in the NFL. I mean, defensively, the Eagles up front, you got Fletcher Cox, you got Brandon Graham, you got Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrove as well. At linebacker, you got TJ Edwards. You got Kaiser White. In the secondary, you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You got big play Darius Slay. Okay, so defensively, the Philadelphia Eagles are arguably the best defense in the NFL. And they can get after the quarterback at a very, very high level. And that's what's going to be key for the Chiefs. For the Chiefs to have a chance, they got to protect Patrick Mahomes. They got to. This Eagles defense, they get after the quarterback. This is the Eagles this year with 4 or fewer rushers this season, including the playoffs. They got 57 sacks. The next closest is 39 sacks. They got 11.4 sack percentage. The next closest is 7.5. They pressure percentage is 35.1. The next is 31.9. So the Eagles, they get after the quarterback better than any other team in the NFL. They really, really do. So that's what's going to be key for the Chiefs. Can they protect Patrick Mahomes and give him enough time to find Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kadarius Toney, MVS down the field? That's what's going to be key. If the Eagles wreck this game and Mahomes is sacked 4 or 5 times, the Chiefs will lose this game. It's that simple. Now, when you switch gears and talk about the Eagles offense versus the Chiefs defense, offensively, the Eagles are led by Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, before his shoulder injury, was an MVP candidate. For the season, Jalen Hurts had 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,701 passing yards. He completed 67% of his passes this year. And this was Jalen Hurts' best season of his career this year. And I like the way that Jalen Hurts was able to play this year. And he also helped the Eagles significantly in the running game. This year, the Eagles, they averaged 148 rushing yards per game. That's ranked 5th in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts has definitely elevated his game. And besides Aaron Rodgers, I don't think there's a better quarterback in the NFC right now better than Jalen Hurts. Seriously. Jalen Hurts is big time. He had a great season this year. And the Eagles, they're better when he plays. And the numbers, they back it up from an offensive standpoint for the Eagles when Jalen Hurts plays. Look at the numbers this year when he's played. This is him as a starter. The Eagles are 15-1. They average 29 points per game, 392 total yards per game, 164 rushing yards per game, 34 rushing touchdowns. And that stat, I believe, was before the NFC Championship game with Jalen Hurts as their starter. So Jalen Hurts is a big-time player, and he's playing some good football. Offensively, the Eagles got A.J. Brown. They got Devontae Smith. And I think that's a great tandem at the wide receiver position. You got Dallas Goedert as well as your tight end. And I love the Eagles' running game. I really, really do. The running game that the Eagles have with Scott, with Sanders, and Hurts, I think it's dynamic. I really, really believe that. And you look at what they've been able to do. They're the first team in NFL history to have 3 different players have 2 rushing touchdowns or more between Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott. So this Eagles running game is very, 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 very good. And if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, I am going to force the Philadelphia Eagles to have to throw the football with Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to allow this Philadelphia Eagles running game to beat me. I'm going to force Jalen Hurts to have to beat me with his arm, not with his legs. And the Eagles offensive line, center Jason Kelce, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, right guard Isaac Samala, and right tackle Lane Johnson. This is the best offensive line in the NFL. They're the best offensive line in the NFL. So if I'm defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, I'm going to do everything I can to try to take away the running game and force Jalen Hurts to beat me with his arm. He's more than capable of being able to do it. He got weapons in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But I think if you allow the Eagles to run the football in this game, I believe that could be a disaster for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really, really believe that. And again, I believe that the Chiefs defense, led by Chris Jones and Frank Clark and Carlos Dunlap up front, they're going to have to create some pressure on Jalen Hurts. I think Chris Jones, he's going to have the type of performance that Aaron Donald had last year in the Super Bowl against the Bengals. That's the type of performance Chris Jones is going to have for the Chiefs to have a chance at winning this game. Definitely going to be important. So, again, I'm very, very excited for the Super Bowl. Two great football teams. And, you look at the quarterbacks this year. This is Mahomes and Hurts. NFL ranks under pressure, including the regular season and the playoffs. This is the Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. Patrick Mahomes against pressure. His QBR is ranked second in the NFL. His sack percentage is ranked first, and he's second in yards per dropback. The Eagles defense is ranked first as far as QBR against opposing quarterbacks, ranked first as far as sack percentage against opposing quarterbacks, and ranked second in yards per dropback against opposing quarterbacks. So that's what's going to be key as well. And honestly, the Eagles defense, they haven't faced a quarterback the caliber of a Patrick Mahomes all season long. I mean, I look at the quarterbacks they faced this year. Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. Trevor Lawrence is good, but not great. Kyler Murray is good, but not great. Cooper Rush, Kenny Pickett, Davis Mills, Taylor Heineke. Matt Ryan is good, but no longer great. And he actually had a down year last year. Aaron Rodgers is great, but he had a bad year last year. Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott. I mean, they haven't faced the caliber of quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. So that's what's going to be interesting in this game. The Eagles defense versus that Chiefs offense. That's going to be interesting. The Eagles defensively, they are great, led by defensive coordinator John Gannon. But they ain't faced a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes yet. So that's what's going to be interesting in that game. But with all that being said, man, it's going to be a great matchup between two great teams. But with all that being said, I'm rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles, ladies and gentlemen, to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona. I'm going Eagles 27, Chiefs 21, and the Super Bowl MVP is going to be A.J. Brown. I had to play my Meek Mill, that Dreams and Nightmares. I got the Eagles beating the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a great game between two great teams, but I got the Eagles beating the Chiefs. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports.